Encountering storms and headwinds during this ill-fated voyage.
First on the flank, get it started. It's right, and it's right, it's terrible. Oh my, get out of the boat of the guy in it. It's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity, all the...
This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
Have you ever seen the original footage of the Hindenburg exploding? The Hindenburg is a gigantic blimp that was sent over from the Germans to show the might of the German people and the power of the German nation and their sophistication, and it blew up. It blew up right in front of everyone, melted everyone on the inside. It's pretty horrifying. But what's even more horrifying is the announcers who were announcing it at the time. Check this out.
The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It's burst in the flames. Get it started. It's right, and it's crashing terrible. Oh my, get out of the way, please. It's bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity.
The humanity! That's right. I mean, it was awful. These things were filled with hydrogen, so apparently a little spark lit out the inside of the blimp, and the hydrogen just went poof and gone. See ya. Apparently it burned like people who were standing like a mile away. They got burned because the fire was so hot when this blimp blew up. The announcers saying the humanity reminds us of another giant explosion flame out that burned some very bad people across this country, which is the flame out that happened on CNN ever so recently when CNN was having to report on the explosion that is going to be the red nuclear fireball of a red wave that will happen in November, according to CNN's Harry Enton, who is their pollster. He says that the GOP is in the best position for Republicans at any point over the last 80 years, and things are about to get much, much worse for Democrats. Watch.
If you're a Republican running for re-election or trying to unseat a Democrat, things are looking pretty good, right?
I would say they're looking very good from a historical context. So basically, I took the best Republican positions on the generic congressional ballot at this point in midterm cycles since 1938. That generic ballot basically as would you vote for the generic Republican or generic Democrat in your district? And guess what? Since 1938, the Republican 2-point lead on the generic congressional ballot is the best position for Republicans at this point in any midterm cycle in over 80 years. It beats 2010 when Republicans were up a point. It beats 2014, 2002, 1998 where Democrats led by a point. And in all of those 4 prior examples that make this list of the top 5, look at that. Who won a majority? It was the Republicans who won a majority. Now, of course, the election is not being held tomorrow, and we'll see. Sometimes history isn't always prologue. But my estimate for the 2023 House makeup, if the election were held today, which again it isn't, we still have 5 months from tomorrow, would be Republicans 236 seats to 241 seats, Democrats 194 to 199. That's based off of a formula of seat-to-seat race ratings from both the Cook Political Report and Inside Elections.
That is a stomping, or that would be a stomping.
Yes, it
would. We'll see if it happens.
So it's not just CNN, however, and I love Jake Tapper's expression, oh, this is really bad. Remember, never forget, kids, Jake Tapper not only dated Monica Lewinsky, that's right, dated her for fun because he wanted to have a parlor story to tell. This is true. But 2, Jake Tapper worked for Democrats on Capitol Hill and was a staffer, literally a partisan staffer for Democrats on Capitol Hill. The bad news doesn't end there. Not even lifelong Democrat flack Jake Tapper can cover it up. various other videos of the collapse that will be impending the Biden administration happening all across corporate media, including some glorious red pills being dropped live on air on MSNBC. Please enjoy this compilation of Democrats screaming that their Hindenburg is blowing up in their faces and all the humanity.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to...
Honestly, I would just can this whole bill. Don't pass it. That's my recommendation.
What about the support, though, for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill and no?
No. I mean, do we need support for gas stations? We don't. So there's no need for this for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete.
Okay. All right.
I'm literally saying get rid of all subsidies.
Is candidly and openly calling for a nationwide ban on all abortions with no exceptions for rape or incest. And if I've got that wrong, I would invite Ms. Foster to correct me. Do I have it wrong, yes or no?
If we added rape and incest exceptions, would you vote for it?
Okay, I reclaim my time, of course.
Here for all of the pool, so it's all over the network.
I'm glad that
as a journalist, you know how it works.
As a journalist, and that's exactly what I want to talk to you about.
Because now you can talk to everyone.
I did this job for 35 years. 35 years, and I loved being a journalist.
Right.
But let me share something with you. We have a problem in this country with the news media, because the news media we're not doing our job. You know why? Because maybe we have been infiltrated by an ideology that I don't agree with. Now I am a member of the GOP, but I'm still an American. And shame on the media. You know why? Because we're concentrating and we're trying to look for headlines on what is not important. What's important, that there's a major threat in this country by what I call the socialist or the neo-Marxist. That's the real threat.
It pisses me off, it is this double standard that you're talking about between those in power and then there's the rest of us.
Trump is aligned with other conservatives, and even though that's not always true, there's plenty of people who spoke out against this. And so now, reminder, don't vote for these people in the midterms because you want to keep the majority. And I think that is a losing message by looking in the past and not looking in the future, because there's things on top of mind for people. There are things like feeding your baby, which I talked about yesterday. There are things on top of mind like people wanting to know if a recession is looming. There are things on top of mind like wondering how to pay for your gas.
Thank you so much for watching. Our channel is here for the truth and also to make you smile a little bit in this extreme era of disinformation and misinformation and people trying to control your brain and what happens inside of it. It's so important that we support independent creators like our channel, and we thank you for watching. If you want to check out some more of our videos, we highly encourage that. Please punch the like and subscribe buttons on your screen to support our channel. It's free. And ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you are following along with independent creators who want to keep this place free. God bless you.